You come into the world on a cold morning in the shadow of Mount Taygetus. There's no soft cloth to wrap you in, no priest whispering blessings. Only the firm, practical hands of a midwife who's done this 100 times before. She doesn't coo over you, she doesn't smile. In Sparta, newborns aren't children yet, they're candidates. Within hours, you're carried a still slick from birth, out of your mother's home, through the dusty streets, past the curious stares of neighbors, and toward the apella, the assembly of elders. They sit on rough-hewn benches, men old enough to remember kings who fought at Plataea, each with eyes like flint. Your mother stands back. This moment is not hers, this is Sparta's. One elder lifts you up like a merchant appraising livestock. Fingers probe your limbs, they test your grip. They check for any sign of sickness, deformity, or weakness, a crooked foot, a cloudy eye. In other cities, this might be the moment for pity. Here, it's just policy. The myth says the weak are simply thrown from the cliffs of Mount Taygetus. The truth is more complicated. Some are left to die from exposure, others are quietly given to helot families as servants. Either way, the city doesn't waste food on those it deems unfit. You survive. Not because you're beautiful, not because your mother begged, because you look strong enough to carry a shield one day. That's all that matters. The elder hands you back without ceremony, and your mother exhales for the first time in hours. From now on, your life is a long audition for war. Your father, he's probably in the barracks. In Sparta, adult men live with their military units until they're 30, even if they have wives and children. You'll see him, sometimes, like a distant uncle who smells faintly of sweat, bronze, and wine. But your daily world belongs to your mother, your grandmother, and the other women of the household. Spartan women are nothing like the quiet, veiled wives of Athens. They speak loudly, they look men in the eye. They own land, run businesses, and think nothing of telling a man he's being an idiot. They are also your first trainers, not in swordplay, but in toughness. You learn to walk on rough earth barefoot. You eat barley porridge, cheese, figs, and whatever meat the household can spare. Cry too much, and an aunt tells you bluntly, if you can't handle hunger, you won't handle the lash. Play is never just play. Wrestling in the dust teaches balance. Racing teaches endurance. Mock battles with wooden swords teach pain, and how to hide it. By 6, you can swim, climb, and run farther than some grown men in other cities. The women encourage sharp tongues as much as sharp bodies. They tease you, outwit you, and expect you to answer back without whining. A Spartan boy should be able to turn a phrase as quickly as he turns a blade. But no matter how warm your home feels, you know it's temporary, because everyone talks about the Agoge. At age 7, childhood ends. You're taken from your mother with no ceremony, only a command. Go. The Agoge is the state-run training program for all Spartan boys. Think of it as school. If school involved learning to kill, steal, and endure things most adults couldn't survive. You arrive at the barracks with dozens of other boys. Some are crying. You learn quickly that's a mistake. The older boys, already 2 or 3 years into the program, pounce on weakness. They trip you, shove you, take your food. Your first lesson: Sparta doesn't protect you from cruelty. It teaches you to answer it. Clothes. You get 1 tunic a year. No shoes, no blankets. You sleep on mats you weave yourself from reeds you cut with your bare hands. The cold bites through you at night, and in the morning, you stand in formation shivering, pretending it doesn't bother you. Meals are deliberately small black broth pork boiled in blood and vinegar, bread, a few olives. You're expected to steal more if you want it, if you're caught. You're beaten not for stealing, but for being bad at it. Training is relentless. Running, wrestling, javelin, and armed combat with wooden swords that still leave bruises. You learn how to read and write just enough to follow orders and record your kills. Everything else is physical: pushing, pulling, breaking, injuring. Older boys, called arenas, are assigned to train and discipline you. That often means the whip, sometimes as punishment, sometimes as a test. Public flogging contests are normal. The winner is the boy who stands the longest without crying out. Some collapse unconscious. A few die. The crowd cheers anyway. Why so brutal? The Spartans believe fear of pain makes soldiers break. Better to break you here, under controlled conditions, and rebuild you harder. There's dark humor in the barracks. A boy limps in from a whipping, and another calls, "What happened?" Fall in love with the instructor. You laugh because if you don't, you'll cry. The Agoge isn't just about fighting, it's about disappearing into the world and taking what you need without leaving a trace. By now, you've learned that Sparta values cunning as much as strength. The trainers, and life itself, make sure you understand, a soldier who can feed himself is a dead soldier. At night, the arena sends you out on missions. Slip into farms in the moonlight, step between the shadows of olive trees, and feel the dry grass whisper under your bare feet. Your task might be to steal a goat, or a basket of figs, or the sacred cheese from the altar of Artemis or Thea. The goddess's temple is guarded, sometimes by other boys, sometimes by grown men, and the challenge isn't just getting the cheese, but getting it without a sound. If you fail, the punishment isn't a lecture. It's the whip across your back until your skin blooms red. And the lesson, they don't beat you for stealing. They beat you for being caught. You hunt, too. Rabbits, hares, birds. You learn which plants can be eaten raw and which will turn your stomach into knots. Your hands grow quick, your ears sharp. Every crack of a twig could mean danger. One night, a boy is caught stealing fox meat from a trap. The fox is still alive. Rather than confess, he tucks it under his tunic and stands before his instructor, smiling thinly while the animal gnaws into his belly. By the time anyone notices the blood, it's too late. He dies without making a sound. Among the boys, it becomes a legend. Not because it was noble, but because it was Spartan. In your late teens, if you've proven yourself, not just strong, but silent, ruthless, and clever, you're chosen for the Cryptia. Officially, it's training. In truth, it's the darkest part of your education. The Cryptia is a silent war against the Helots, the enslaved population that outnumbers Spartans many times over. The state fears rebellion more than foreign invasion. You're given only a knife and a few days' worth of food, no armor, no cloak. You move through the countryside alone, living off what you can steal or snare. At night, you strike. Your targets aren't random. They're the strongest, the boldest Helots, the ones the state whispers might be dangerous. You watch them by day, learn their paths. Then, one night, you close the distance. Your blade does its work. You leave no witnesses. The elders call it a test of courage. Deep down, you know it as also a warning to the Helots. No one is beyond the reach of Sparta. You come back to the city leaner, harder, and quieter than when you left. At 20, you graduate from the Agoge. You're now a hoplite, a full-time soldier of Sparta. Your world becomes the barracks. You eat with your unit, sleep beside them, train with them. Every movement is drilled until it's instinct. You can pick up your shield and spear in the dark and be ready before you fully awake. They issue you the red cloak, meant to hide blood and intimidate enemies, a bronze helmet, a heavy round shield, a spear, and a short sword for close work. The shield is sacred. Your mother once told you, come back with it, or on it. Dropping it in battle isn't just cowardice, it's treason against the city. By now, you've seen smaller wars, skirmishes with Argos, raids into Persian-held territory. You've learned the phalanx, where you and your brothers lock shields in an unbroken wall, spears jutting forward like the teeth of a great beast. If one man falters, the formation shatters. You never falter. In the summer of 480 BC, the word comes, Xerxes of Persia marches with an army so vast it drinks rivers dry. King Leonidas selects 300 Spartans to block them at a narrow pass called Thermopylae. You are chosen. For 3 days, you hold the line. The Persians throw wave after wave at you, and each one breaks against your shields. Arrows blot out the sun. Someone jokes, good, we'll fight in the shade. You laugh, and keep fighting. On the 3rd day, betrayal, the enemy learns a hidden path and surrounds you. Leonidas tells you to leave if you wish. No one moves. You fight until your spear snaps, then with your sword, then with your hands, teeth, and whatever you can grab. When you fall, it's forward. Shield raised, you die on your feet, as you were taught. Your name will not be carved into marble, there will be no song of your life. Only a single truth, you are one of the 300. That's the Spartan way, the city endures, the man is forgotten. You were not a hero, not a victim, something else entirely necessary. Subscribe for more timeless stories reimagined.